Hi, welcome to another book talk from Massanutten Regional Library. My name is Susan and I'm a reference librarian here, and we wanted to share with you some of the books we enjoyed for last month, which was May, which was Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I'm going to start with one of my favorites, which was A Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. This is a retelling, and as you probably know, I really love a good retelling. This is a retelling of Jane Austen's Persuasion, and it's the second book in a series about the Raj family, and this one focuses on Chef Ashna Raj as she fights to keep the restaurant her father started. The story follows her and her involvement in kind of a celebrity cook-off bake show where she reunites with her former boyfriend, who has turned out to be a very famous soccer star. It also goes into a little bit of her relationship with her mother, and you see some flashbacks about her parents' relationship, and it's a excellent story for both characters, for the mother and for the daughter. So highly recommend this book. The second book I'm going to talk about is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is the first in a trilogy. It's a fantasy trilogy. It's called the Green Bone Saga, and it's set in a fantasy world, but it's probably based loosely on Hong Kong and its history in the mid-20th century. So there are societies called the Green Bone Warriors that have defended the island of Kikon from foreign invasion, and they use jade, hence the name of the book, Jade City, and that enhances their physical and mental abilities. So they are trained as warriors using jade to protect their country. But now the piece is disintegrating. There are rival families who are involved, who want to take over territories and cities. And the capital is Janloon, and the No Peak clan, which is the focus of the book, is the ones that run this. The eldest son, Lan, leads as the pillar. He's perhaps not as strong as his grandfather, so there's some question about his leadership abilities. His sister, Shane, has to come back because she's tried to leave the family, but she's brought back, and his younger brother, who serves kind of as an enforcer, but can be very impulsive. So there's another family that is trying to take over the mountain clan, the Ayet family, and they're trying to move in on the territory. There's a lot of Godfather themes in this, so if you enjoyed The Godfather, this might really appeal to you. Similar kind of familial ties, trying to get away from your family, being pulled back in, and the importance of clan and defending your territory. So this is, again, the first in the series. The second one is called Jade War, and the third one is not out yet, but this is the Green Bone Saga. The first book is Jade City by Fonda Lee. The third fiction book I'm going to talk about is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. This came out in 1989. This was her first novel, and it is one of my favorite books. I have been carrying around my copy since 1989. And this is a story of Chinese-American family, mother's-daughter relationships again, and it's told through the eyes of both the mothers and the daughters, kind of around a mahjong table and sharing their stories. There's flashbacks. You may have seen the movie, which is also excellent. But this is a wonderful exploration of mother-daughter relationships, as well as the immigrant relationship with the children who are born in America. And Amy Tan has, of course, written many, many more novels, but this was her first. So highly recommend this one as well. I also wanted to give you a couple of nonfiction options for reading for this topic. So this is The Making of Asian American History by Erika Lee. Lee is at the University of Minnesota. She's a historian there, and she's also the director of the Immigration History Research Center. So this was published in 2015, which was the 50th anniversary of the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. This is an excellent overview of the history of Asian American immigrants in the United States. She breaks it up into 3 different sections. So she charts the individual immigrant story from different countries. She starts with Chinese coolies, and then she goes through Japan, Korea, a range of South and Southeastern countries. And then part 2 tracks each group's struggle for acceptance in the United States. Part 3 covers the impact of World War II specifically, and then Part 4 addresses the the millions of displaced Southeast Asian refugees that came into the United States after 1975. So the book also Lee's thesis is that to remind us that Asian Americans are seen as Asians, not Americans, and often come to embody whatever threats the land of their ancestry allegedly poses to the United States. So this is an excellent overview. I highly recommend this as well. And last is another nonfiction account. This is a graphic novel. It's a biography. It's by George Takei, who you may recognize from Star Trek as Mr. Sulu. It's beautifully drawn. You know, there's kind of black and white imagery, very delicate artwork. So it's beautiful to look at, but it also tells an important story of the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II after President FDR signed Executive Order 9066. Takei was 5 years old when he was taken to an internment camp with his family. And while he perceives it as an adventure, in the book you get his view as well as his parents' view of how dangerous the situation actually could have become, or was actually for them, and how the children were protected and what happened. And then it also follows him after they get out of the camp. The family gets out of the camp, they're released, as are all internees. And his sense of disillusionment, his arguments with his father about what happened, and how his father still truly believes that America is the best possible place to be, and that our democracy is truly the strongest. I find it interesting that Takei actually spoke at FDR's library on the 75th anniversary of the Day of Remembrance. So it gives a very personal account of this time period and struggles that Asian American populations have faced in the United States. So we have many more books about and by Asian American and Pacific Islanders in our collection, so I encourage you to come in and check them out. We have a reader's advisory. You can find this online or come into the library and pick one up. We also have a lot in our electronic collection, so if you go to the MRL Overdrive site, you can find ebooks or audiobooks. And I also want to remind everybody that the summer reading program starts June 7th. You can sign up. So if you go to mrlib.org/SRP for summer reading program, you can find out more information and you can register. You won't be able to log books till June 7th, but you can be prepared and ready to go. So happy reading.